Have you ever found yourself standing in the kitchen, staring at your plate and thinking, am I really eating the right foods for my age? Maybe you still enjoy the same vegetables you've loved for decades, but somehow your legs feel weaker, your balance isn't quite what it used to be, and your energy seems to slip away faster than before. You're not alone. Aging changes how our bodies respond to certain foods, even the ones we've trusted all our lives. But here's the beautiful truth. While we can't turn back the clock, we can absolutely choose the foods that fuel us best today. And those choices can make a remarkable difference in how we feel tomorrow. That's exactly what this video is about. I want to gently walk you through 6 common vegetables. 3 of them can quietly help you stay stronger, sharper, and steadier as the years go by. But the other 3, they might be silently working against your health, especially when it comes to your leg strength, your balance, and even your independence. We'll explore exactly how each one affects your body, the healthiest ways to prepare them, and how just a small change in your meals can ripple out into better days ahead. So make yourself a warm drink, get comfortable, and let's talk like 2 friends who care deeply about living well, no matter our age. Let's begin with one of the most underrated protectors of aging bodies, a little green tree that packs a powerful punch for your legs, your heart, and your brain. Broccoli. Yes, that little green vegetable many of us used to push to the side of the plate when we were kids. But once you're over 60, broccoli becomes much more than just a side dish. It's one of the most powerful foods you can put on your plate to stay strong, steady, and mentally sharp. As we age, our bodies lose some of their natural defenses. Inflammation quietly creeps in. Bones become more fragile. Muscles don't recover like they used to. And here's the tricky part. You often don't notice the changes until they've already taken something from you, like the ability to walk confidently or stand up without help. This is where broccoli steps in, nature's bodyguard for graceful, independent aging. Its superpower comes from something called sulforaphane. You don't need to remember the name, but think of it as a tiny soldier inside broccoli, fighting inflammation, clearing toxins, and protecting your blood vessels, joints, and even your brain. Let me share a quick story. My neighbor Joan, 72, started adding just 1 cup of lightly steamed broccoli to her lunch each day. Nothing drastic, just a small change. A few months later, she told me her knees didn't ache as much going upstairs, and her doctor noticed her circulation had improved. No expensive supplements, no complicated diets, just broccoli. It's also rich in vitamin K and calcium, both of which keep bones strong. That's no small thing after 60, because even a tiny fracture can take months to heal. Strong bones mean more freedom, fewer worries, and a better chance to keep doing the things you love. Broccoli also helps prevent your arteries from hardening, a natural part of aging that can lead to high blood pressure and heart issues. And because sulforaphane improves blood flow to your lower limbs, you might notice less tingling in your toes, fewer nighttime cramps, and steadier steps during the day. For anyone managing diabetes or circulation problems, that's a quiet but powerful gift. Cooking tip. Boiling broccoli until it's soft and mushy washes away much of its nutrition. The best way? Lightly steam it until it's bright green and still a bit firm. That's how you lock in the goodness. I like tossing mine with olive oil and garlic for flavor and extra health benefits. You don't need mountains of it. Just a cup a day can make a real difference over time. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. So next time you see broccoli, remember, it's not just a vegetable, it's a green ally standing guard over your bones, your legs, and your future. Spinach. Now, let's talk about something you might already have in your fridge: spinach. You've probably tossed it into a salad, added it to a sandwich, or blended it into a smoothie. But here's the secret. This humble leafy green is one of the most powerful foods for your brain, your circulation, and even the muscles in your legs. Spinach doesn't have the crunch of carrots or the bright color of red peppers, But for people over 60, it's like quiet medicine, working behind the scenes to strengthen you from the inside out. Let's start with circulation. Do your feet feel colder than they used to? Do your legs tire faster when you walk? That's often poor blood flow, and spinach is one of the few vegetables rich in natural nitrates. These aren't the harmful kind found in processed meats. These nitrates help your blood vessels relax and widen, improving blood flow to your muscles and brain. My friend Robert, 69, used to feel lightheaded when standing up quickly. He thought it was just getting older. But when he began adding spinach to his breakfast smoothies a few times a week, those dizzy spells became less frequent. Later, his doctor told him his blood pressure had improved, and his legs didn't feel as heavy when walking, all from spinach. It's also a brain booster. Spinach is rich in lutein and folate, two nutrients that protect memory, sharpen thinking, and support mental clarity. A sharp mind is just as important as strong legs. After all, our memories and thoughts are what make us who we are. And don't forget your eyes. Lutein and zeaxanthin in spinach go directly to the retina, protecting the macula, the part responsible for sharp, detailed vision. That means better depth perception, fewer struggles with small print, and a lower risk of age-related vision loss. How to enjoy it? Raw spinach is fine, but lightly sautéing it with olive oil can make some nutrients easier to absorb. You can toss a handful into soups, scrambled eggs, or smoothies with banana or berries. Just a handful a day is enough to see benefits. Spinach may be quiet, but it works tirelessly, helping your blood flow better, your brain stay sharper, and your body feel more alive. And when you pair it with broccoli, you've got a daily nutrient powerhouse on your plate. Carrots. Let's take a moment to appreciate something a little sweet, a little crunchy, and far more powerful than it looks, the humble carrot. You've probably been eating carrots your whole life, tucked into soups, floating in stews, or wrapped in foil inside your lunchbox. But once you pass 60, carrots become more than just a familiar taste from your childhood. They quietly transform into a protector, guarding your eyes, your nerves, and even your balance. Here's something most people never think about. The strength in your legs isn't just about muscle. It's also about how well your nerves send messages from your brain down to your feet. That nerve-to-muscle connection is your body's communication system. And carrots, yes, carrots, help keep that connection sharp and reliable. They're loaded with antioxidants, especially one called beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A. And vitamin A? Think of it as nutrition for both your nervous system and your vision, a kind of daily maintenance oil that keeps your signals firing clearly and your world looking sharp. I remember talking to my Aunt Linda, who's 74 and lives alone. She told me one of the scariest moments of her life was stepping off a curb and nearly falling. Her legs weren't weak, it was that she didn't see the edge clearly, and her body didn't react in time. That moment changed her. Now she eats carrots almost every single day, grated into salads, blended into soups, or simply raw as a quick snack. She swears her steps feel more awake, her reactions quicker, and her balance more secure. That's the power we're talking about here. Yes, carrots help sharpen vision, but they also preserve what I like to call movement confidence, that reassuring feeling when you can trust your body to respond quickly, when your balance feels steady, and when walking across a room doesn't require a second thought. And here's another hidden gift. Carrots are naturally high in fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar. You might be wondering, what does blood sugar have to do with my legs? A lot, actually. Big swings in blood sugar affect circulation and nerve sensitivity, especially in your feet and lower legs. Stable blood sugar means stronger legs, healthier feet, and fewer of those tingling, numb, or burning sensations that too many older adults quietly deal with. The best part? Carrots are simple. You don't need fancy recipes. In fact, eating them raw or lightly steaming them is the best way to preserve their full nutritional punch. Try carrot sticks with hummus, a handful grated into morning oats, or a smoothie with carrot, apple, and ginger. It's fresh, bright, and nourishing all at once. People sometimes ask me, I already eat carrots, does it really make a difference? And I always say yes. If you eat them consistently and with purpose, the benefits add up quietly over time. Carrots don't just help you see better, they help you move better, feel steadier, and maybe even prevent that one fall that could change everything. With broccoli, spinach, and carrots on your side, you've built yourself a trio of quiet, dependable allies, each working in the background to keep your body stronger, your balance steadier, and your days brighter. But just as some vegetables protect us, there are others that, without us even realizing it, slowly chip away at our strength. They look harmless. Some are even colorful and picture perfect. But for those of us over 60, they can increase inflammation, weaken joints, and put your legs at risk without much warning. Eggplant. Now, let's talk about a vegetable that often surprises people. A food that looks beautiful on the outside, deep purple, glossy, and often praised as heart-healthy. I'm talking about eggplant. Maybe you enjoy it grilled with olive oil, baked into a casserole, or added to a vegetable stew. It's flavorful, versatile, and for some of us, quietly harmful. It sounds strange, but here's why. As we age, our bodies can become more sensitive to certain naturally occurring plant compounds. Foods that never used to bother us might now trigger stiffness, discomfort, or subtle changes in how freely we move. Eggplant can be one of those foods, and the reason lies in a compound called solanine. Solanine is part of the plant's own defense system, found in eggplants, tomatoes, and a few other vegetables. In small amounts, it's harmless for most people. But for older adults, especially those with arthritis, joint sensitivity, or chronic muscle aches, solanine can trigger low-grade inflammation. And it doesn't announce itself. It's not a sharp, immediate pain. Instead, it's a slow whisper that builds over time, weeks, maybe months, gradually wearing down the joints and tissues that help you bend, step, and stand without hesitation. I knew a man named Carl, 68, who loved gardening. He stayed active, tended his plants daily, and ate what he grew. But he started noticing that his knees ached more after a long day, and his ankles felt stiff each morning. He assumed it was just normal aging. Then his daughter, who happens to be a nutritionist, asked about his meals. It turned out he was eating eggplant almost every day. When he cut back, the change wasn't instant, but within weeks his morning stiffness faded and walking felt easier. That's the sneaky thing about foods like eggplant. They don't scream danger. But for the aging body, their effects can quietly chip away at comfort and mobility. And here's the tricky part. Cooking doesn't get rid of solanine. Whether roasted, grilled, or simmered in tomato sauce, the compound remains. One slice now and then isn't a big problem. But if you're eating eggplant regularly and dealing with unexplained joint pain or leg weakness, it's worth testing. Try going without it for a few weeks and notice how your body responds. Sometimes the absence of discomfort says more than any blood test. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. You know your body better than anyone. If there's even a small chance that eggplant is contributing to inflammation or joint trouble, why not give yourself the chance to feel better? There are countless other vegetables that protect, strengthen, and soothe your joints instead of irritating them. You deserve comfort. You deserve steadiness. And the good news? Eggplant isn't the only food worth looking at closely. In fact, the next one might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Bright green, cheerful, and often praised as healthy. But for seniors, it may quietly be feeding the very inflammation that steals strength from your legs and clouds your thinking. Green bell peppers. At first glance, green bell peppers look like the picture of health, crisp, colorful, and refreshing. They brighten up salads, add crunch to sandwiches, and sit proudly on veggie trays at family gatherings. But for those of us over 60, what's beneath that bright skin can be more concerning than it seems. Green bell peppers belong to a family of vegetables called nightshades. Like eggplant, they contain natural compounds that may irritate sensitive digestive systems and joints. One of the main suspects is lectins, proteins that, in some people, can bind to the gut lining and interfere with nutrient absorption. That might not sound like much, but over time, it can mean you're not getting the full benefit of the foods you work so hard to eat. And that creates a ripple effect throughout the body. I once spoke with a woman named Judith, 70, who prided herself on eating healthy. Then she began noticing tingling in her feet and ankles and a subtle wobbliness when she walked, as if her legs just weren't as reliable. She wasn't in pain exactly, but she knew something was off. When she reviewed her meals, one thing stood out. She was eating green peppers almost every day, believing they were a smart, low-calorie choice. With her doctor's guidance, she swapped green peppers for red and yellow ones, the ripened versions that are typically sweeter and lower in certain irritating compounds. After a month, she felt steadier on her feet, less tingly, and more energetic overall. That's the thing. The effects aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they show up as small changes: stiff ankles in the morning, slight numbness in the toes, a brief wobble when you get out of a chair. Easy to ignore, but these little signals matter. They're your body's quiet way of asking for a gentler approach. Green bell peppers also offer fewer antioxidants than their red, orange, or yellow siblings. So you may be taking on more of the potential downside, irritation for sensitive folks, without getting as much of the protective upside. Can cooking help? Yes and no. Cooking can reduce some lectins, but it doesn't remove the potential for irritation entirely, especially if you're already dealing with arthritis, digestive sensitivity, or circulation problems. Simple swaps that work. Choose red, yellow, or orange peppers for more antioxidants and a gentler profile. Roast them and peel the blistered skins, or slice them raw into salads for sweetness without the bite. Use them in stuffed pepper recipes, sheet pan roasts, or quick sautés with olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Every little choice you make adds up. Listening to your body, paying attention to what feels good and what doesn't, is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself at any age. White potatoes. This one might surprise you more than anything else we've discussed. White potatoes. They're warm, familiar, and tied to so many comforting memories. Mashed to Thanksgiving, roasted for Sunday dinner, crisped into golden fries that take you straight back to family outings. White potatoes are woven into the fabric of our lives. But here's a truth many of us don't hear as we get older. The very comfort of white potatoes can carry hidden costs, especially for our legs, our heart, and our long-term strength. White potatoes are very high in simple carbohydrates, which means your blood sugar can spike quickly after you eat them. At first, that might feel fine, maybe even energizing. But inside your body, those rapid surges can quietly fuel inflammation, particularly in the small, delicate blood vessels that nourish your legs and feet. For seniors, those vessels are already more fragile. Over time, frequent blood sugar spikes can lead to numbness, slower healing, poor circulation, and gradually weaker legs. It doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it just feels like your legs tire out faster, your feet run cold, or nighttime cramps show up more often than they used to. I spoke with Gerald, 73, who'd eaten a baked potato with dinner almost every night for years. Nothing fancy, just routine. Then came the nighttime leg cramps and a shaky feeling on the stairs. When he cut back on white potatoes and added sweet potatoes and leafy greens, he told me it felt like a fog lifted from his legs, like they remembered how to move again. The trouble doesn't stop at blood sugar. Over time, diets heavy in refined starches can contribute to arteriosclerosis, stiffening of the arteries. When arteries lose flexibility, blood has a harder time reaching the lower body. That can mean slower response times in your feet, a greater risk of falls, and longer recovery from minor injuries. And many favorite potato dishes pile on cream, butter, cheese, and salt, adding stress to the heart, kidneys, and blood pressure. Compared with other roots, like carrots or sweet potatoes, white potatoes generally come up short in the antioxidant department. Their pale flesh simply doesn't offer the same level of protective compounds that help buffer everyday oxidative stress. Does that mean you should never eat white potatoes? Of course not. It just means treat them with care and a strategy. Portion smart. Think half a cup to 1 cup, not a heaping plate. Pair wisely. Combine potatoes with protein, healthy fat, and fiber. Think salmon and broccoli to blunt blood sugar spikes. Try the cool and reheat trick. Chilling cooked potatoes and serving them as a vinegar-kissed potato salad or reheating after chilling can increase resistant starch, which acts more like fiber. Explore alternatives. Roast sweet potatoes or winter squash, mash cauliflower with olive oil and herbs, or lean on legumes for a hearty side that's kinder to your blood sugar. Keep the skin on when you can. It adds fiber and micronutrients. The goal isn't to take away joy, it's to make room for choices that give your body more of what it needs and less of what wears it down. The way you feel tomorrow, the strength in your legs, the steadiness in your steps, the confidence in your movement begins with what you eat today. When we make these choices out of respect for our bodies and the lives we still want to live, something powerful happens. Hope returns, energy returns, and strength starts to build again. So, with all of this in your heart, the foods to welcome and the ones to approach with care, let's bring it together. Here we are, my friend, after walking through 6 everyday vegetables that might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Some, broccoli, spinach, and carrots, quietly protect you day after day, supporting balance, nourishing your legs, guarding your vision, and helping you stay independent just a little longer. Others, eggplant, green bell peppers, and white potatoes, may look harmless, but for many of us over 60, they can slowly chip away at the strength we've spent a lifetime building. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? Life after 60 isn't about chasing perfection. It's about awareness, tuning in, noticing how foods make you feel not only in your stomach, but in your knees, your energy, your mood, and your sleep. It's about learning to listen to your body as kindly and patiently as you would listen to someone you love. You don't need a total overhaul. Just make one small swap today. Steam a cup of broccoli with lunch. Trade mashed white potatoes for roasted sweet potatoes or cauliflower mash. Skip the green pepper in your salad and try cucumber or roasted red pepper instead. One small shift, then another and another. That's how strength returns, not through dramatic changes, but through quiet consistency. The vegetables on your plate aren't just ingredients, they're choices, they're care. They're small, loving decisions that ripple through your joints, your balance, your blood, and your brain. Over time, those ripples become real change. If this message resonated with you, if you're feeling hopeful or simply curious about what's possible, share one thing you're going to try this week. Maybe a food you'll add, maybe one you'll ease away from. Let's support each other. Let's grow together. You are not alone in this journey. And if this video brought you value, please tap like. It helps more seniors discover content that supports their health. Leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 so you never miss a simple tip, a helpful story, or a gentle reminder that your health, strength, and joy are still in your hands. One meal, one choice, one step at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Here's to walking taller, seeing clearer, and living each day with more energy, more peace, and more purpose. You deserve nothing less.